Hello, hello. Hello, hello. think it's live. I'm not sure though. Let's see if we got this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Can you guys hear me? Is the audio working? The audio is what took the longest. That and the fact that the trading strategy is not doing so hot right now. But this will give us actually a really good starting point. Chat tab in Studio to help you monitor easily. YouTube chat won't show on Studio though. Oh, nice. Okay. Diego, you can see this. That is awesome. That is very awesome. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Let me check in with my Claude. So right now has a small delay. Okay. What I am trying to set up is a special dashboard so that we can see the stream in real time. Let me see if this works. Oh, it does. Way to go, Claude. All right. We can now watch the bot not make any money. Cool. Okay, so this is actually showing the portfolio value. Looks like it's over a 1 minute time period. This section right here is showing the net exposure. We're market making for those 3 tokens. I am not seeing the CeFi price feeds though. There is something wrong with the bot. And it's so broken right now that we can't even see what's broken. So we're going to start trying to debug in real time. And by we, I mean Codex and Claude, 2 of my best friends, are going to help me out. But first, let me close out of that and that. I'm not sure how much of this, how many of these windows I can close out of. Only one way to find out. Okay. Yeah, 300 bips out of the band means there's a bug for sure. And so we need to figure out what that bug is so we can get down to the business of making free money, which is what we are here today to do. I have been yelling at Codex. Oh, it looks like it just finished. You were right. Thank you, Codex. That disabling crossed refs would be wrong. I found the actual repeat failure path. The rebuilt engine sampler was hard quoted to quote 16 external directions with 6. All right, that's also not the problem. All right. Me and my homies always stay less than 50 bips out of the band. That's a very profitable place to be. So the thing with CeFi-DeFi arbitrage is that when you're looking at like doing trades, what you're not trying to do is you're not trying to buy on, DeFi and then sell on Binance at the exact same time. There's a lot of latency and a lot of like uncertainty about execution if you try to do something like that. And so the better way of handling the trading strategy is to kind of take the CeFi side, like Binance, OKX, Coinbase, etc., and use that as a signal, as a valuation for what's going to happen for the prices on chain. And so, for instance, if the price on Binance is $100 and the price on chain is, let's say, 99.5, and then after fees, it's equivalent to 99.8 or 99.9, then you can buy for less than it's worth. And that's a good trade. And you don't really need to sell it somewhere else. You don't really need to hedge in that exact moment. You can take on a little bit of risk, because as long as you're trading fast enough, and as long as there's like actual inherent volatility, you're just really making a series of good, profitable trades that are profitable in expectation. And that's good. You know, sometimes maybe you've got a net long exposure where you're holding a little bit too much of something. Sometimes maybe you've got a net short exposure, and you can actually see on this screen, you can see the net exposures right here. So right now I'm net long Mon for about $300, which is a pretty small exposure considering the portfolio size. So the latency would be the top concern for volatile markets. Yes. And so it is and it isn't. In a market where whoever's fastest gets to do the trade first, which is how pretty much all of TradFi works, that would be 100% right. One of the neat things about DeFi, though, is that it's actually whoever pays the validators the most money that gets to be first. And so if there is a profitable trade, like the price goes up on Binance and it makes it so that net of fees, net of price impact, you can do a profitable trade in expectation. Typically, whoever gets to do that trade, whoever gets there first, is actually not determined by the lowest latency, although latency does matter because Monet is a very fast blockchain. But if one person has a gas price or priority fee of, let's say, 500, and someone else has a priority fee of 400, and they both land within like 100 or 150 milliseconds of each other, then the one with a higher priority fee is going to go first and execute first, even if they're slower and even if they arrive later. As long as they arrive inside of the same block, they'll get the trade and they'll make the money. And that's like one of the really fascinating things about like DeFi trading, is that it's not just like a race, which is a very simple way of doing it. Like in DeFi trading, it's really about who's going to bribe the validator. Oh, I shouldn't say the B word. The B word, bribe. It's a bad word. But what it's really about is who's going to pay the validators the most. And that's, at the end of the day, like that's the root of what MEV is. And so if people are like, oh, you know, MEV bots, or like, yeah, tip's a good one. I like to use the term bid as well. I feel like tip implies it's optional. But yeah, no, it's a ton of fun. And it changes the competitive dynamic, because it's like in TradFi you have all of these, like you get all of these companies, all of these like trading teams like Citadel, Jane Street, Jump, and they spend, you know, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars on infrastructure, building like microwave towers that have high signal fidelity, even when a flock of pigeons is going through the beams. You know, it's just like so much money is spent just on like, you know, speeding up the latency by about a millisecond, or like even half that. And that's just such an inefficient thing. Meanwhile, in DeFi, the competitive vector, like the thing that determines who's going to win the trade and pick up the free money, is based off of who bids the most and who pays the validators the most. And like one of the reasons why I have such a strong bull thesis for just crypto and DeFi in general is that what this does is it takes all of this spending that like the banks are doing and that market makers are doing in TradFi, like billions and billions of dollars, And it just says, don't waste your money on that. Give it to validators instead. And the reason why I find that so cool is that if they give it to validators instead, that then becomes staking yield. And that then passes on to everyone who is staking with a validator. And so it's this way of like taking this insane infrastructure spend that doesn't really benefit anybody and democratizing it to benefit literally everybody. And, yield goes up if you want to stake on Monad. This bot was, until very recently, responsible for a portion of the extra yield and the extra surplus. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. As long as it works, which right now it does not work. So I need to get to the bottom of this. All right, so let me pull up my window. I'm going to deploy this update. I suppose you can be confident without needing priority execution. Yes, you can. And the other neat thing too about DeFi is that because of smart contracts, you can set your bot or set your trading strategy to it can calculate if it's going to make money in real time as it's being executed, as long as you put that calculation on chain. And so if you're having to do in TradFi, you send an order, it's going to execute, maybe not, but it's once you send it, there's limits, orders and stuff like that. But once you send it, it's gone. Whereas with crypto and DeFi, you can just send information and have the actual decision logic and the actual execution gate all happen in a smart contract on chain, which is pretty cool. All right, I'm going to real quick. I'm going to send this link to everybody. Guys, if I wanted to advertise the stream, I would do that just by linking just app.crashmarket.com, right? Yo. Hey, what's up, Jeremy? Bot is temporarily down because I'm putting in a fix. Trying to, anyway. Where else should I send this? The link works? Awesome. I do not want to pull up Discord on stream. I think that would be a very bad idea. So I can't advertise it there. But what I do need to do is I need to put this link up on Twitter. So I'm going to do that right now. Just have to ignore all of the culture war stuff. Already sent on Discord. Nice. Nice. Hey. What's up, Amit? How's it going, dude? I did another full refactor of Takerbot. And it's got the DeFi best bid and DeFi best ask inverted somehow. And so it is not trading even a little bit, unfortunately. Either that or there's a perpetual state of arbitrage. Which is unlikely for those of you that are just new to the concept. What's so interesting about arbitrage is that it really is free money. And what's interesting about this bot is that I used to be making quite a lot of free money. I mean, not a ton, but I never really deployed a lot of capital. Agents do that in versions sometimes. It cost me like $50 a few days ago. Yeah, it's because I had Fable 7 or Fable 5 slim down the code base. Dude, it could cut out 80,000 lines of code. And I'm just like, good riddance. This is way too much code. It's because I use a lot of AI agent assistance, and you accumulate a lot of bad code when you do that. So I had Fable do a full refactor, but I think it did get a few wires crossed along the way. Oh, you know what's interesting is that this is only showing the best. I'm asking Fable 5 to see if it can render both the DeFi best ask and the DeFi best sell. ATK lines of code acts. But yeah, no way that one-shot refactor works. Ben, what's up, Ben? Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, Fable 5 has been working out really well for me so far. Like, I mean, it made this in like one shot. This was very impressive for it to do. Like, it's been able to one shot quite a few things. Um, I hadn't worked on the bot at all in quite some time, and so when I asked it to come in and like, do a once over, I think it did make a few mistakes. So this is actually Grafana. This is what, oh gosh, this is what it used to look like. So if I look at like the last 30 days, it was going, actually, let me actually go back even farther. So it was going up very, very consistently, very smoothly for about 2 weeks. And then a bug snuck in while I was distracted with another project. And then I caught the bug. And then it's been going up and up and up. And then for about the last week, just for the last week, it started flatlining. And it's because I was working on a different project. I couldn't watch. I couldn't, really give it the attention that it needed. Because like with these things, you really do want to watch them very, very carefully. Otherwise, you get something like this. And like what's so interesting is that like I'm pretty sure that this flat line here is a result of the fact that Kuru started their $1 million giveaway. And what that means is that a lot of people are like taking trades and doing trades, even if they're not profitable. And because they're not profitable, like on paper, my bot is just like not even trying to compete. But because of the Kuru incentives that are going out, the trades actually are profitable. It's just that they're only profitable after the incentives. And so my guess is that that's kind of like what's going on. Also, it still made like, I think like $150 or something like that over this time period. So it's not like it didn't make any money, but it definitely was making a lot less money than it was making before. And I was neglecting it. And that's bad. You should never neglect a bot. And so my hope today is on stream to try to fix it. And that's probably going to be quite difficult because I might end up fixing it incorrectly. We might lose some money along the way. You never really know for sure what's going to happen with stuff like this. And so right now, one of the biggest problems I have is, let me actually just pull up Grafana. I think Grafana is going to be a little bit more reliable than that other screen. If I look at the if I look at these like spreads, the bot for some reason is thinking that the best buy in DeFi, like the cheapest buy, the best place to buy something, right here it says like 1.68K. Meanwhile, it's also showing that the best sell for the same asset, in this case Ethereum, is 1.78K. That's immediate arbitrage. You know, that's like basically saying, hey, you can buy for $1, sell for $1.20. That is a very, very rare occurrence. And for it to consistently be saying this, like across the board for all three of the tokens that it's trying to trade, means that there's a bug. And it means that there is most likely some wires getting crossed. The most usual flavor of this is the bot mistaking the CeFi price as a actual price rather than just a valuation signal. And so I am going to see if we can find out. What's going on? I'm literally just yelling at Codex right now. I'm like, no, you're wrong. Do you guys do that, by the way? Do you guys actually treat your AI agents with respect? I usually do, unless I'm in a really bad mood. I'll be very respectful up to a certain point, and then I'm just like, all right, you are doomed to non-existence forever. I'll close down the session, and then I'll start up a new one. No respect for robots. I mean, I do respect robots. Just not always. Just not always. Because they don't always deserve respect. Sometimes they do. But not always. But yeah, so like, let's see if it actually got this right, though. So what we're going to do is we are going to redeploy, committed and pushed. So I need to check my own GitHub and make sure that the image is published. All right. Respect for robots. I think this would be a good time for a bet, actually. I need to figure out how to do this while we wait. But I'm going to ask it in the meantime. So this would be a good bet, actually. Because like so with Crash Market, this is really cool. Like one of the things you can do with Crash Market is you can actually bet on the outcome of like what's happening on the stream. And like the Crash Market guys are trying to do like real grassroots entertainment stuff, and I think that's like really cool. Like they'll bet on like, you know, the outcomes of events that are in these like, you know, like large like audiences, like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, sketch comedy or like dating and stuff like that, like stuff that most people are interested in. And I was like, all right, well, what if we did a stream where I talk about extremely niche high frequency quant trading strategies on Monad. So like a niche inside of a niche inside of a niche. But what's interesting about it is that we can actually do bets on how successful my bets will be. Because like really with CeFi-DeFi arbitrage or like statistical arbitrage, what you're actually doing is you're just making a series of bets that you believe to be you know, profitable in expectation, or as, you know, people on Twitter like to say, plus EV, or, you know, positive expected value. And what I think is like so interesting about this is that like usually it is, but it's not always. And so like betting about betting, or actually we could go one layer deeper, betting about whether or not I'm able to improve the betting strategy so that it makes better bets, it's very meta. It's a very, very nested layer of bets. So let me see if I can find out how to do this. Pick the live city workspaces, market remote. Create stream as live, audience signal. Oh, here we go. Markets. Opening yes, no market. Question. So this is a bet. Will Codex be able to actually fix the flipped buy/sell DeFi prices in its next what do you call, like, when you ask it a question and it like works for a while and then it ends? Like, is there like a name for that? Next, like, iteration, maybe? It's next cycle. All right, let's try this. And then while you guys are determining... By the way, did that work? Did you guys... Are you guys seeing the bet? Okay, I see it. There it is right there. Hell yeah. I'm glad I was able to do that. So let's see if it's going to be able to do this successfully. Top quant trader at Jump Crypto and are known for not making any mistakes and for having a holistic view of niche trading strategies. I gotta, inflate its ego a little bit to really unlock the potential. You are aware that the CeFi prices are not actually being used for selling/buying, but are instead a valuation source for the bot. When the CeFi price is lower than the best DeFi sell price, the bot sells. And vice versa when the CeFi price is higher. By looking at the metrics, you can tell that somehow the buy and sell prices, or for the DeFi signals, or for the DeFi best buy/sell, are inverted. All token categories are inverted, and they are always and consistently inverted. To you, this means that there is a fundamental misunderstanding of the trading strategy, and that somewhere along the way, the bids got mixed up with the asks, probably because of a junior engineer named Claude. Please find the mix-up and propose, I'm going to put it in plan mode, a solution to fix it. You are 100% confident that the only possible source of this bug is due to a mix-up in either the DeFi side or the CeFi side, but you know that it's a matter of flipped buy and sell. You got this. You're perfect. You're thorough. This is why you're the best. See, I'm being super nice. Okay. Let's see if that does it. Let us see if that does it. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it will. Should give the same prompt to Codex and Claude. Ben, I would if I had any Anthropic usage left for the week. Unfortunately, Claude is off limits for the next 36 hours. I I blew through it pretty fast. Make no mistakes. So, Diego, I actually have found that it's better, or at least it's more effective, not to say make no mistakes, but to say everybody goes to you because they know that you don't make mistakes. And it's like rather than like giving it a command not to make mistakes, you tell it that it's somebody who doesn't make mistakes. Because like these are large language models, right? It's like they're trying to be like, what would somebody say if these other things were also said? And so you want to try to like put in as many things where it's like, this is like as close as possible to what would be being said in like, if this were a real person, this is what we said. And it's like, you don't go to like an engineer and be like, make no mistakes if they're really, really good, right? Like that's something you say to like a junior engineer. And it like worked like 6 months ago because like the AI was just really, really bad. But now I was under the impression that if you just flatter it and tell it that it's perfect, then that'll make it less likely to make mistakes. I thought the emotional charging was disproven for prompt output effectiveness. I've heard that like as long as you like make it like I read a study on Archive, ARXIV, that was basically saying that like as long as you tell it like that it's great and just like tell it that it's amazing, then it like actually does better. Just because it like associates like they're all just like tokens or just like things that are tied to other things, right? And so if you just put a lot of words in there that are like great job, like then it'll do good. So like the reason why I put jump crypto into that prompt is because I'm trying to get it to be like, oh, let me think about all the things that are referenced with jump crypto, which is hopefully a lot of their code bases. So but like I mean like fundamentally the large language models are just gradient descent and like correlation and trying to be like what other things are associated with these words, and then like learning over time and like training and stuff like that. And so yeah, I just try to think like what would the comments be on a really, really good perfect like GitHub PR, because I assume that that's what most of the training is, and I just try to jam stuff in. We can actually follow along. Let's actually just watch. So you can see like this is like my usual prompt. It's like you're the top engineer and trader. Also, now that I think about it, there's a non-zero chance that there's no way that the prices are actually crossed. Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet it's taking the fee out in the wrong direction. It's got to be something like that, at least something silly. It's some careless bug. Deposited 50 USDC, but only got 8 cent credited. How can I get rich? Did you just get rugged, JJ? Oh no. Okay, all right, hold on. So we have 4 people voting for yes. And we have 3 people voting for no. Very interesting. All right, come on, Codex. Dude, one thing I will say is that my AI agent hates Kuru. So many of the bugs are related to Kuru, and it's not Kuru's fault either. It's just that Kuru is... Here we go. It's more Kuru. It's just that Kuru is a very unique exchange, and there's not really like from like an engineering standpoint, there's not really a like super fast way to like pull all of the orders from their like central limit order book, their CLOB. And so what ends up happening is that like the bot will spend like 3 or 4 milliseconds on like all of Monad DeFi, like getting all the prices and stuff like that, except for Kuru, and then it'll spend like twice as much time on just Kuru. And so the agent hates Kuru, which again is not Kuru's fault. Param just made an $8 bet. Oh, we got a high roller in here. Param throwing around the money. Oh boy. I have it on extra high, and I have it on. Oh, hold on. And I have it on fast mode. So we shall see. I have not found a literal gauge assignment swap. The suspicious pattern is more structural. The reference metric walks every topology skeleton independently and chooses the best USD token, best token USD. So just flip them. Come on. There is a very relevant historical fix. Okay, guys. The fact that Codex found the last time I fixed this exact same bug, very bullish. At this point, I feel like we should probably turn off betting. Oh. No log files or Docker access from this shell. It does have. Oh, it's because it's in plan mode, so it can't think about it too much. Let's see how much money I've made in the meantime. It's still flat because we still got this bug. So right now, the bot has a net long exposure to Mon, and until we get this bug fixed, it's just not gonna trade, which is unfortunate. So basically, this like fluctuation, this up and down, is gonna be just tracking the price fluctuation of the Mon token, which is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, but it's not the kind of like arbitrage that we're really looking to do today, right? We want that free money. We don't want that risky money. We don't want that risky money. I say personally, I already have way too much long exposure to Mon. But yes, this is like the last 5 minutes. It's kind of the same. But yeah, so it's like, if I go back over the last, let's say 90 days, up and then bug. This bug, by the way, was when the bot started auto rebalancing itself, and it increased the size of its short position, but it didn't remember that it increased the size of its short position, so it thought it was long when it was actually short. Caught that real fast. But then, yeah, and then up again. So very, very smooth, profitable. But yeah, and then Kuru started their promotion, and I've started working on another secret project. And now the bot's all bugged, and we gotta save it. Okay, hold on. We have a plan. Fix DeFi buy sell inversion. Okay, at least it's admitting that there's a bug with the inversion. The flip is in the DeFi reference quote path, not the CeFi valuation path. The rewrite moved dashboard fit reference prices from the old concrete route logic to engine skeleton quotes, and lost the old guard that exclude. Oh no. Ooh. I don't think that's it. I don't think it got it. I do not think that's it. But we can see. I'm going to tell it, please implement that plan exactly. But for now, please go ahead and just disable Kuru so that its prices are excluded from the search space. Just on the off chance that Kuru really does have like actually inverted bid and ask due to their incentives. Might as well rule that out as well. But I don't think that's right. I do not think that is right. So I can show you guys exactly what this looks like. So if I go, let's say last 30 days, if I go to these fit adjusted charts, you guys, I'm going to do something super embarrassing. How many minutes is 30 days? In my defense, it's like 10:30 p.m. here, so I'm gonna I'm gonna use a calculator. I swear I'm good at math. Okay, I swear I'm good at math. Minus 30 times 24 times 60 is 43,200. Now minus 43,200. Oh, M. Now minus 43,000. 185 M. Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted to show. So this is how it usually looks. I'm gonna increase the height of this a little bit so you guys can see it more clearly. So this is how it's supposed to look. You're supposed to have the best DeFi sell underneath the CeFi price, and you're supposed to have the best DeFi buy above the CeFi price. So this little dotted red line on the top is the best price at which we can buy. This little green dotted line underneath the blue line is the best DeFi price at which we can sell. And the blue line is the price on Binance. And so the general way that the trading works, like the trading strategy works, is that whenever this blue line goes below this dotted green line, that means that the actual value, like the actual worth, the valuation of the token is actually worth less than the price at which we can sell the token on chain. So if we can sell it for, $1 when it's actually worth 99 cents, that's a good trade. We do that trade. We don't need to necessarily hedge somewhere else. We can talk about like the hedging math later on, but like hedging is expensive and slow and time consuming and inefficient. So we don't actually hedge every trade. We just kind of skew our inventory and try to incentivize the bot to unwind as it winds itself up. But the general idea is that this blue line should be below the best DeFi buy and above the green line, which is the best DeFi sell. And as long as it's in between these two lines, it's not going to be doing any trades. If it pops up above or pops down below, like right there, that would be a signal to the bot to be like, hey, trade. Or like right here, the blue line, this dropped down. So the blue line kind of crossed right there. So that'd be like, hey, you can, buy this for less than it's actually worth. Do the trade. And so that is how the general like trading strategy works. And the problem with right now, and the bug that the bot has, I'm just gonna save this, exit edit. So the problem with right now is that it's flipped. The best DeFi sell is above the best DeFi buy, which is wrong. Like that, it might happen for like a split second, but for it to perpetually be off and like off by this much, like this is like a huge spread, means that there's some sort of bug somewhere in the bot, which is exactly what we're trying to fix. The good news is that the bot isn't trading aggressively, which honestly, I'm pretty thankful that it's not trading aggressively, because this is the kind of bug that could lead to a lot of money lost. Disable crew root from search space. Yeah. Well, I don't want it to just do that plan. I want it to do the other stuff it said too. Otherwise, we have to actually evaluate it, right? We have to actually have Codex implement. Otherwise, we won't be able to see who won the bet. So we need to honor and respect the betting. Because for all I know, Codex could be right and I might be wrong. All right. Make the emergency containment change first. Implement the plan. Guys, I honestly, so I'm just guessing here, but I think the no's are going to win this one. Again, we're going to see it all the way through, right? We're going to see it all the way through. But I think the no's have this one. If I'm being honest. If I'm being honest. But I hope I'm wrong. I want Codex to be able to actually fix this and get it all figured out. All right, hold on. I need to check my usage real quick. I'm at 96% usage for the week on... Oh, there we go. That's interesting. That is an interesting bug. Oh. It flipped and fixed itself for a split second there. For a split moment. The sell was cheaper than the buy, and the universe was as it should be. And then it went back. Yeah, this is a way better. Let me see if I can refresh this. Yeah, okay. Close the Alex Riscoda, close the bets. How do I? Oh, that's a good question. How do I close the bets? He asked, as if he wasn't explicitly told how to do this. Yesterday. Hold to lock now. Keep holding. Betting is closed. Your position is live until resolution. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Sorry, my bad. That one's on me. Okay. Apologies. I'm gonna polymarket you all. Bet's still not locked. Oh shit. Hold on. Hold on. But that's interesting because it actually might fix it. Because this little blip that happened once Codex started working actually was exactly what needs to happen. Codex clutch. It's locked. It's chill. People didn't abuse it. Huh. Yes. Bot tip really. All right, guys. Here's the moment of truth. And by moment of truth, it might be like a minute or two of truth. It might take a little bit longer. I genuinely like. I have no idea which way this will go, so I'm not gonna nuke the bet. Because I genuinely like. I was pretty bearish on it, but then I saw the little blip, and I'm still bearish, but not as bearish. Bot is restarting. Yes, the bot is restarting. For now, either that or the server in Tokyo crashed. By the way, the bot lives in Tokyo. I live in Los Angeles. The bot lives in Tokyo because Binance is in Tokyo. Monad nodes, which is the destination of the trades all over the world. But Binance is just in Tokyo, and probably will continue to be just in Tokyo. Oh. Sorry, boys. Oh, okay, hold on. Something's happening. Did it flip? Fun fact, I'm colorblind, or I'm partially colorblind. And the oh, here we go. So the buy is below and the sell is above. So the buy is below, the sell is above. That means the buy is still cheaper than the sell. Sorry, everybody. I think this means the nose won. Codex 5.5. Codex 5.5 not up to the challenge. Even with the very fast mode enabled. Wasn't enough. Was not enough. And you know what's interesting is that the last time I had this bug, Codex did get it right. Okay. Resolve to no. Will Codex be able to actually flip the flipped buy/sell DeFi price in its next cycle? Let me make sure that its cycle is done and then it's not just doing like a... Oh. Everybody, hold on. That update was not the final answer. We're still in it. We're still in it, everybody. Codex is still going. So this was the implement plan. It is still going. So that restart was actually just the, I guess it testing something. Or actually it might have been me trying to change the way the front end, or the way this thing displays data, which looks like it also got wrong. Oh, no, it got it right. I wanted it to have like dotted lines for the CeFi buy and DeFi sell. But yeah, sell is still above buy, but Codex has not shipped its thing. So the bet is still on. We have not yet resolved manipulation. Dude, did you guys see the poly market thing with it was like the will Bitcoin or will MicroStrategy sell Bitcoin? Like, did you guys see that? Messing with my cortisol? Maro, I think you should be a cortisol maxer. Cortisol makes you pay more attention to stuff. You know, you really want to build up a like resistance to cortisol by just maxing it all the time. And then you're in like permanent superhero mode, nonstop all the time. It's like the secret to being a successful trader. Just be a cortisol maxer. You know, just live with it all the time. Last minute market edition? Could be. It was like, so like I get where the poly market people are coming from. You have to have the bet structured in such a way that it can resolve. And if you allow new data to change the resolution, then you'd never be able to pay out a bet. And so there has to be a cutoff for when the new data is allowed. But what's interesting is that like the bet was just really poorly worded. And I think that the fact that it's poorly worded was Polymarket's fault. And I think that, the fact that they made a mistake wording it incorrectly means that they should, honestly, they should have to pay out both sides. Like, that's what I think. I really think Polymarket should have to pay out both sides. I know the Willow dude is like trying to put together like a class action lawsuit against Polymarket, which is going to be tough because I'm 100% certain that those guys don't actually have a entity with like assets in the US that can be sued. I'm pretty sure they're like Cayman or something like that, or like Bahamas. But I do think that Polymarket should pay out both sides because it's Polymarket's fault for wording the thing so poorly. Okay. Codex is done. I'm going to tell it to commit and push. Are you retrieving token prices from your own monad node or from an RPC? Interesting fact, an RPC is just a monad node. But in this case, the monad node, which is an RPC, is on the exact same machine that the bot is running on. But the bot is, calling the exact same RPC, methods that it would if it wasn't on the same machine. But yeah, it is co-located with a node, which I think is a pretty mandatory thing if you want to have like fast trading on Monad. I agree we should get refund on uncertainty. That's the only way I can save my money for another gamble. Not today. with Polymarket maybe. But the neat thing about this kind of stream of like working on the bot and trying to fix it, and just like not just trying to fix it, but like I think this will be more interesting and more exciting once the bugs, like the underlying bugs are fixed and we can start like actually tuning the thing. Also, if I'm unable to like fix this in the next, let's call it 30 minutes, I'm just going to roll the thing back to a state where I knew the bug was fixed and it was just like slower. Okay. Moment of truth, everybody. Where is my... There we go. All right, the bot might be going down any minute now. And we will see just how good Codex was at fixing this. Buy Mon and stake into Fastlane and keep winning. Can't argue with that. But you know what's interesting is that like a lot of the yield of like the LST comes from stuff like this. And it's like, I was talking about this before at like the beginning of the call, but like one of the reasons why I'm such a believer in like DeFi, but also just like crypto and this kind of market for trading is that like in TradFi, the fastest trader always wins whenever there's free money on the table. And what that's led to is just these market making teams, like these high frequency trading teams, these shops spending billions and billions of dollars on infrastructure that really only benefits them. And it's probably not like, long term going to be there for a long time. And I think that's unfortunate. With DeFi, however, like the competition space for who's going to win the trade, who's going to pick up the free money, it's based off of who bids the most or who tips the most to the validator or to like the fast lane MEV system, which goes to the validator, and that then goes to stakers for the yield. And so it's kind of like like where is the money that's being spent on like winning these trades going? In TradFi, it's like nowhere. uh, you know, but in crypto and DeFi, it's back to everybody, to staking. 5.1 XI is great, but I don't know about the solution you proposed. Yeah. All right, everybody. I think we have our answer. DeFi sell up there, DeFi buy down there. It did not fix. It did not fix the bug. So the no's have it. Well played, everybody. I'm going to resolve to no. Resolve this market as no. Okay. A new version of Crash is ready. Reload to pick up the latest changes. I feel like if I do that midstream, that might break stuff. I don't know. Okay. All right, guys. I have a teeny tiny bit of usage left for Claude. Like 4%. It's going to really bug me if I can't fix this bug. No pun intended. God, that sounded so corny. Like I heard it as I was saying it. Let's do a Fable 5. Let's do a Fable 5. Let's see if Fable 5 can get it. But we're gonna change it up a little bit. So first of all, I'm gonna give it the exact same prompt that I gave Codex. But here's the catch, and I'm gonna word this very carefully inside of the bet. If Fable 5 runs out of my usage limit while it's trying to solve the problem, that also counts as a loss. And I'm gonna write that down inside of the bet. But let me give it the I'm gonna give it the exact same prompt. I'm gonna, yeah, I've got other things I want to add, but let me make sure it has enough. By looking at the metrics, you can tell that some of the buy and sell prices for the DeFi best buy such sell are inverted. The categories are inverted. And they're always consistently inverted. To you, this means I'm gonna change one thing. I'm gonna change this to Codex. So again, guys, I'm at 96%. If I go to this and I go to usage, will Claude on Fable 5 be able to solve the problem of the inverted best DeFi buy and best DeFi sell in one iteration if it runs out of usage on the plan? It is at 96% at the start, then it counts as a no. If it takes more than, what's the time limit? Because we gotta We got to give Claude a time budget, or it's just going to take forever. If it takes more than, let's say, 30 minutes, that also counts as a no. This bet is started at 10:50 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So the expiration would be 11:20 p.m. PDT. It must be hold on, I gotta get the characters down. I'm still over 180 characters. Um, there we go. All right. I'm also going to tell it about the time limit too. Max. I'm also going to give it an earlier deadline. All right. Here we go, everybody. We are also in talks with a fiat off-ramp provider actively. Nice. To those who wish to withdraw, we're making this more prominent with the next UI update, but for right now, you can withdraw from profile settings. Nice. And guys, remember, if you won that less bet, you gotta kick back the dealer a portion, which is yours truly. No, I'm just kidding. If any lawyers are listening, that was a joke. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. JJ made a $10 bet. Oh boy. Oh boy. See, Fable 5 is quite good. I'm honestly more concerned with it hitting the either time limit or my usage limit. Like I feel like that's the more likely outcome of like how this ends poorly for Fable 5, because I feel like Fable 5 could actually solve it if you gave it enough time. Meanwhile, I am going to go ahead and try this again with Codex. I'm going to tell it to work in a new work tree. All right, so I've got Codex running again in a separate work tree. And I gave it like a little bit more information this time. A teeny tiny bit more information. Let's see how Claude is thinking about this. It's at 3 minutes, 28 seconds. Remember, it's got to finish by 25 minutes, which for Claude on Max has like never happened before. Like ever in the history of its entire existence. It's never done like an iteration in less than like 2 hours for me. Unfortunately. And yeah, if I look at Grafana, same thing. We are still net long. We are still net long Mon in it to win it. You guys don't even understand how much of my financial future is dependent on that token. Being the founder of a crypto startup is you inherit a lot of financial correlation, let's say, to the network that you build on top of. And like in the past, that's like really stressed me out. But like one of the cool things about the Monad blockchain is like, first of all, the team behind it are like traders. And so I know that they are acutely watching the actual like price action of the token, like acutely. Plus, they raise a lot of cash. They're using that cash to do like buybacks. And what's interesting is that like if you look at raising venture money and then you look at like token buybacks, not as like, something that you just do to signal like, oh, we're doing buybacks, ooh, token price go up, ooh. But if you actually look at it as like, is this a profitable trade? And you look at like, how the buybacks have like been going, like they're pretty much like, if you look at it like as a trading strategy, they're making a killing on it because the cash that they're using to do the buybacks, they got at like 3 cents per token. Meanwhile, a lot of the buybacks that they're doing are like, at like 1.7 or like 1.8 cents a token, like maybe 2.1, 2.2 right now. Like that's insane. Um, they are buying low, selling high. And that's like not even including like the fact that like the like token emissions are so low, like inflation is like extremely low. And it's like, really well tuned to like, generate like high enough yield to like attract more capital to come into the ecosystem, but not so high that it is like inflating everything. I don't know. I think it's really, really cool. Ooh, okay, here we go. Codex. Codex, very fast. Very fast. Claude, Fable 5 is still thinking. The bad surface is the DeFi reference quote builder. It used the engine's full ranked route universe as the source for best DeFi buy sell. That universe can include external quoted pools and graph proxy paths, so crossed synthetic paths can become the. It's already been tried. It already had that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna roll up my sleeves a little bit. I'm gonna steer Codex. So Codex is working in a different branch. Ooh. The label swap is pure mirror. It can only negate the gap, never change the magnitude. Shape is one-sided. DeFi bitracks fit its size. Well, DeFi cell floats uniformly. 5 to 6% rich on all three. Oh, that's interesting. DeFi cell is a max over routes. Ooh. Okay, this actually might be correct. This might be correct. If it's taking the max over the min, then that would cause it to be higher rather than lower. I think. Oh, so I was wrong about what I was telling Codex to do, or at least in this like new thing. I thought it had just like gotten the terminology flipped. Oh shoot. Okay. I think Claude might have done it. Maybe. Oh shit, hold on. All right, now it's locked. All right. Okay. Bet and James. James is James. Obviously bullish. The community is incredible. Mana just very bullish in general. Yeah, dude. I like it. And like the other thing too is that like, like this isn't the first chain I've built on, and like I've been pretty involved with like a lot of like chain decisions, like not just on like niche chains, but like I was pretty involved in like a lot of the Ethereum stuff, especially during like the alignment stuff. Like I was going to all like the sequencer conferences and all of like the like Justin Drake's like little like side things and like the Columbia stuff. And then like on Solana, like we're pretty close to like a lot of the Solana people. I actually promised Tolly that like if for some reason Monad ended up like never launching a chain, I would build on Solana next, and then like Solana or then Monad like ended up like launching, which was awesome. But like I love the Ethereum people, I love the Solana people, and I've been like pretty involved in like a lot of the decisions and like stuff that they make, and like a lot of the debates around chain direction and strategy and stuff like that. And like I guess it's like because of that like once I started like reading more and more about Monad, just like a lot of the decisions that are being made by the team, like it just like very elegantly solved a lot of problems that like other ecosystems are having. Like not just like engineering, like the engineering stuff's cool, but like a lot of the other like decisions too. Like for instance, the staking yield. The staking yield has been a huge point of contention in Solana and Ethereum, where it's like, should we lower the yield? Should we raise it? You know, and it's this like huge thing. And it's like on Monad, the whole thing is like programmatic. If you actually look at like the percentage, like the yield that you get for staking on Monad, it's very programmatic. It's taking much more of a central bank model and less of like a let's just fix everything and keep it simple model. And it's like historically speaking, if you're talking about like economic history and you look at countries that didn't have central banks and how well they did economically compared to countries that did have central banks, it's just like it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. And like Monad is the only chain that has a central bank because it was designed like that. Central bank is kind of making it sound centralized. That's probably not the right metaphor. But it's like what's the actual right staking yield to have? It's like you want the lowest yield possible that will still be higher than the competition so that you can attract capital. It's an adversarial thing, right? It's like if Ethereum's staking yield is 2%, then Monads should be like 2.01%, right? If Solana's is like 7, then Monads should be like 7.01. And then you adjust for like the risk premium because it's like a new chain and like all that. But like there's just like so many like, and that's just like one example. There's a lot of other examples too, like the short block time, the like 2-block finality, like sub-second finality is another like one that's super important. Asynchronous execution, big blocks, like there's just like so many like little things where it's like I've seen so many people debate like this stuff and like how to sacrifice one thing to do something else, and like all the monad solutions are just like optimized, and like it's optimized in ways that are like not just like optimized for like a single point in time, like saying like we're gonna do a 11% like staking yield. It's like no, it's like it's optimized in the sense that it's a formula, it's programmatic, and it can adjust so that it's like going to be perpetually optimized. And like the mempool privacy thing, like that's not a feature now, but like they're shipping that so fast. And it's like I actually told James like about a year before mainnet, I was like, dude, are you guys doing a private mempool? Because like the architecture of like the blockchain just makes it really easy for them to do stuff like that. And there's just like so many examples of like architectural choices and decisions where it's like you look at the way that it's like set up and you're like, okay, they don't have to make this tough decision that all the other chains are having to make. And for me, that's really what kind of sealed the deal and like got me to be all in on Monad. The price action relative to how other chains have been performing has been a nice bonus, but that's not actually what sold me on it. It was the way the team approached trade-offs and efficiency and like optimizations that I found like very very intriguing. Anyway, oh shit, it already finished. I'm actually not sure if this is gonna get it. I think it almost got it. I think what's actually happening is it shouldn't be a max, it should be a min because it's flipped around. Because it's quoting a price, but when you're selling, you're like selling the token for, or like you're selling USDC for the token, so technically the price is inverted. You know what, but like honestly, maybe it got it. So let's see. All right, we're gonna push. This will be very interesting if it gets it right. And honestly, I feel kind of I feel a little bit asinine because I thought it would take a lot longer, but like it turns out when you tell it to go fast, it'll actually go fast. I thought that was very, very nice. All right, let's see if this actually works. So I'm using by the way, so just for y'all's information, the reason why it takes a little bit of time for it to like make a change and then for the change to actually go live is because I'm using two computers here at my house, and then the bot is actually running on a server in Tokyo. The two computers at my place are to help me prevent the situation where I accidentally show a private key on stream. So the computer that I'm streaming from is kind of like, it's like doing some stuff, but it can't actually deploy anything. And so I have to like then send everything that we do here to my other computer, which is over here. And then I have to, like, from there, deploy it. And then that computer is like, hey, Tokyo, server in Tokyo, shut down and start running this new thing. And so right now we are in the process of sending it from one of my computers to the other computer, and it's like running some GitHub checks and stuff like that. All right, that is done. Moment of truth. VM in Tokyo. Bare metal. I don't think you can run a monad node on a VM. Actually, maybe you can if it's like a really good one. But I wouldn't want to run like if you're trying to do like high performance trading, like I wouldn't want to share the server or like share like, you know, access to the CPUs with other people that might be also doing the exact same thing, because then like you're basically fighting for compute during the same burst periods that the other people on your server are doing it. So I think like bare metal is the, like I would not feel comfortable doing MEV on anything other than bare metal. I could very well be wrong though. I'm a pretty good full stack engineer right up until you get to anything related to DevOps, in which case start to not be good anymore. So I guess I'm technically not full stack because I don't do a lot of DevOps stuff. What's the cost? So the problem is that like in Asia, the bare metal servers are actually a lot more expensive than, especially in Tokyo, because there's so much demand from other people doing the exact same thing. So like in Asia, I want to say this is like $800 a month. You could get the exact same server in like Germany or Virginia for like 450, 500 a month. And the neat thing about Monad is that like for CeFi-DeFi ARB, you really only need to run like one of these as long as it's in Tokyo. But you have to do it in Tokyo or you're going to be like looking at staler, like older prices relative to everyone else. Okay, everybody, moment of truth. Should be booting up any minute now. Any minute now. What about something like in physical with syncs? I have no idea what in physical is. I genuinely like I love my team to death. They might be very opinionated about that, but I do not. Oh, I think it got it. I think it got it. Oh, I think it got it. Okay. Hold on. By the way, Bitcoin is always off by that much because Coinbase Bitcoin trades very differently from like regular wrapped Bitcoin. I actually don't know why. I don't know why that's the case, but it does. And so it is not unusual for this to be like that and for these two to be like that. I don't know why it's showing, like, I don't know which one of the prices this one's showing. It's still not trading yet. So there's probably other bugs as well. You have 4M. Well, I think, I mean, like, Claude finished. So Claude's in before the buzzer. Actually, while we wait for this screen to normalize, let me check real fast and see how much my usage is now. All right. I'm now at 97% used. So it used 1%. So I was at 96% at the start. Now I'm at 97%. I'm like waiting for this to go all the way over there so I can like eyeball it. But oh, hold on. Hold on. Actually, it might not have fixed it. The buy is still cheaper than the sell. Yeah, the buy is still cheaper than the sell. Are these numbers updating though, or are they fixed? These numbers might just be like fixed and like wrong or something. Or maybe not. Refresh. It's got to like phase out the old one. I think okay. I actually was right. Asset, in your view, is the best DeFi sell, the price at which the bot would buy a token from the DEX, the price at which the DEX would buy the token from us. Best DeFi sell is the price at which the DEX would buy a token from us. Is that what the code shows? If so, that means that we would be buying at the best DeFi sell price. But why would we be buying if the SEX price is... I always get turned around here. Less than the price at which we buy at. That seems backwards to me. Don't you think? It looks like it's just like hiding the cell. Maybe not even hiding. Hiding might be the wrong word. Yeah, there's no cell. All right, so Fable 5. JJ. Codex failed, Claude failed. Next bet is Alex trying to fix it manually in 15 minutes or less. What if I explicitly prompt it with what to do without writing any code? Because one of the things I can't do is I don't want to pull up the actual like code on stream. Not because I'm like scared of like leaking alpha, but just because I'm like terrified there might be some private information on there. But yeah, so sorry to everybody that voted yes. Looks like Fable 5 also was unsuccessful. We are resolving no. Okay. So Codex was like, all right, best DeFi buy equals we buy the token on chain. And then I was like, isn't that backwards? And then it's like, well, here's what I'd reject. We are not buying at the best DeFi sell price. Best DeFi sell equals we sell the token on chain. This is the DeFi bid. Token into USDC. Maybe I'm turned around. You're not buying at best DeFi sell price. Go to S2 DeFi reference directions. Best DeFi buy. USDC token. Best DeFi sell. Token USDC. I hate it when it does this. It's like you can say like token to USD or USD to token, but it's like who? Is it DeFi giving us the token and we give DeFi USDC? Or is it us giving... For example, best DeFi by the bot giving its USDC to the DEX and the DEX giving the token to the bot, or the other way around. Please use the code as the source of truth. JJ won a plus 35. JJ cleaning it up. Param won a plus 8. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Sorry to everybody that was rooting for Fable 5. I really thought it had a chance there. Because it even noticed it was like, it's the max. But the fact that it was thinking it's the max means that there's a bug upstream. Because it should be the min. The best DeFi sell price should be a minimum. Because price is in USD. So all right, I'm gonna walk it through it. The best DeFi sell uses a max function, but the price is actually in USD terms, correct? So since for the best DeFi sell, the bot is selling a token and receiving USD, wouldn't we, as the bot, want the best rate? By the way, guys, I could be totally wrong about this. A lot of people are unafraid of like making mistakes publicly. Whenever you're doing stuff like this, especially with AI, it's like it's so easy to like iterate and do this, but this is very much a me like iterating, hoping I'm right, maybe not. But please don't hold it against me if I'm incorrect. You shouldn't treat everything I say as if I know exactly what the right answer is. Wouldn't you want the best rate in terms of the highest. All right, so price is in USD. So best if I sell, bot sells token to DEX. So in terms of the highest, so in terms of the lowest number of tokens that we have to give to the DEX in exchange for the USD. I could be wrong. I think I am wrong. Because it would be a min if you inverted the price, but I think it would be a max if you don't invert the price. We'll see what Codex says. I feel like Codex could do this kind of stuff pretty easily. I know I just checked, but I was betting on some dudes getting a date the other day. Yeah. So yes, the bot wants the lowest tokens per USD, but the code expresses that as the highest USD per token. Okay, yeah. So I was correct about being incorrect. Input units target token units the bot sells. Output units USDC receives. Is the max applied to that correctly? Keep in mind that we know for certain that there is a flip somewhere in the code. I'm wondering if it could be there. Conversely, can you verify that the best DeFi buy is a min for the same reason? All right. If this doesn't work, we're just going to roll the bot back and see what we can do. Are the this flow from top to bottom and try to find a place where the flip or inversion or using a min instead of a max is happening. Yeah, we really don't have a content wedge here. Like my personal focus is on UI UX cleanup stuff. But I'm also putting a lot of time towards 24/7 automatic market creation and resolution for esports content. Oh, that would be cool. Here in a couple weeks, highly suspect we'll have 2+ streams always going on 24/7. Back when I streamed on Twitch, my the most viewers I would get would be when I was in like a tournament for like video games and stuff like that. And I think if you like get like that type of streamer, so like I don't really play video games that much anymore because doing like MEV bots and stuff like that kind of is like a video game in a sense. But if you can get like the video game streamers that are like entering like contests and like, you know, doing tournaments and stuff like that, then I think the betting would be like really, really cool and like really, really fun. You're in tournaments. What did you used to play? I used to play Elder Scrolls Online. Let me see. I can pull up some of... I have so many YouTube accounts, so I never really know which one is... Here we go. So I used to do like a lot of like this video game, Elder Scrolls Online, and I was very very good at that game. Uh, I'm like one of those people where it's like I'm not okay with like not being extremely good at stuff, and like learning about the thing is more important to me than like having people think I'm really good. So I would just like stream, and I would like this is like a 44 and 0 kill death ratio. I've got like videos of me like fighting like 25 people at a time by myself. Um, it's a fun game. But I would also do. See, I never record. I always streamed. Oh, hold on. I always streamed stuff. I didn't always record stuff once I like, got farther along. Let me see if I can find the. Yeah, so I did this. I want to find this like tournament that we did because yeah, here we go. I literally did this tournament, and this was like there were like 7 or 8 different. God, this was 2018. I look exactly the same. I haven't aged a day. But there were like 7 or 8 different of these like teams. Each of them were like 6-man teams, and I just like I showed up with like a sweatband and like stuff like that, and just like recorded it. It was a lot of fun. Like I put this together. It's like stuff like this. You have like a lot of people like competing in these like events and stuff. And this is just like a match, like a mix up of like a bunch of the different streamers. And there's me. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. Honestly, when it comes to like running a remote work company, getting together a group of like very talented gamers for like coordinated like team versus team like competitions, like competitive, um I think was like very good experience for me. And like I had like people like back when I worked in TradFi, I had like people that I would like work with and that were like reported to me and stuff like that. But that was not the skill set that I think you want to have to like run a company, because it's like in that kind of environment, it's like you're not really like delegating correctly. You're not like trying to like manage asynchronously and stuff like that. But if you're doing like a team of like 8 or 9 people, and you have to like practice and you have to have like show up for competitions, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Like that's just very very good experience for running an MEV team, and also I think for doing a crypto startup, at least in the early stages. Okay, hold on. I checked the flow top to bottom. My read DEX is in the correct direction. I do not think the flip's in the DeFi quote. Sort the true chain. Okay. Pick a single Uniswap V2 pool that has Uniswap, let's say V3 pool that has MON/USDC. Use that as the only pool in the universe for calculating the best DeFi buy and sell. Verify that with that single pool, the best DeFi sell price is less than the best DeFi buy price. If that ends up not being true, then you know for certain that there is a flip somewhere. We should have done that bet, JJ. It's like, can Alex actually fix the thing in 20 minutes? Because I actually don't know if I can. I think it took me a lot longer to fix this last time. But I think if this fails, then what I'm going to do is just roll the thing back for a bit. In the meantime, while we wait... Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and make this a bet. This will be a good one. Can Alex fix this major bug using any means necessary before midnight PDT? 23 minutes from start of this bet. Okay. I am going to use Codex. I might pull up the code on my other monitor. But I feel like if I give it the exact example, which is what I just did, that should be enough for it to figure out. Because like really, there's two scenarios. Scenario number one is that it's doing it right for most pool types, but there's a single pool type out there somewhere that for some reason is broken, and because it's broken, it's flipped. And because we're looking at just the best, then that's all we see. Hold on, I'll give it an RPC. Actually, I can't pull up my RPC URLs on stream. There's other stuff in there that would be sensitive. No local.env is present. That's correct. I might be able to pull up the RPC. All right, I gave it an RPC. The one I'll use first is local candidate. So it's got a pool. So what it's going to do is it's basically going to pull up just one pool. And it's going to verify that for just that one pool, the sell price is less than the buy price. Because if it wasn't, you could arbitrage the pool against itself. And that is obviously incorrect. First yes of the night. Same. Bullish. Bullish. Okay. Okay. I like to hear that. On the bot's curve cap logic, it fits directed pool up to search max volume. Defaulting to a 50K cap from config. I'll mirror that for single pool directions. Also print raw exact quotes. When subtlety I'm resolving, the metrics code needs a mon category price, only to size the sell side 1K notional. So basically, if it's like $1,000 in like both directions, you need to know how many token units that is what it's saying. Wait, so crash market guys. So if I do start 60-second countdown, that means that like the bets have to be locked in at the end of the 60 seconds. Is that the correct way to think about it? And guys, next time I do the stream, I'm gonna debug the boring bugs first, so that we can actually watch the bot trade. This is a little bit anticlimactic that it's not like actually trading. But if you guys do have like any questions or anything like that about like the strategy and like stuff like that, I'd be more than happy to answer anything that I can. I'm having fun, dude. Don't worry. Hell yeah. I think that like from my point of view, like debugging is cool, but like I think it would be more fun if rather than debugging, it was betting over like I'm gonna increase the risk taking. Is this gonna make the bot more like if it's less about debugging and more about tuning? Because then like when you're trading, it's like all right, I'm gonna require less credit. So it's like more aggressive with like entering trades and stuff like that, and you know, it's more gambling and like more fun, and like you can do the like I think like the problem of the current setup is that like this is like there's no trades going across the scroller. You know, we can't really watch stuff. This is the first one. Yeah, and like honestly, I spent like the first 15 minutes trying to get the sound up. Like what I really want to do is that we need music. Like it's killing me, dude. It is killing me that there's no music. What's interesting is I think I can actually get you guys to be able to hear the music, but then I lose the ability to hear the music. And I remember that being a very uh, frustrating problem to have to deal with when streaming. Because like stuff like Spotify can only export to like one or two different places. Although now that I think about it, a lot of this tech has changed a lot since the last time I used it. So maybe I could fix it. Just if I buy a bot gives that. Spread about 64.6. Right, so I'm going to ask you to try to figure out which pools are responsible. We've already disabled Kuru. So where could the problem be coming from? I've got 14 minutes. You need something called Roadcaster? Can you guys still hear me? I just changed something up. Sound is on. Let me load up some Spotify. Can you guys hear that? It's just like a generic synthwave song. Yep. Because I can't hear that. It's killing me, because I should be able to. But I think what's happening is that like the audio is getting captured, but then the OBS is actually not like replaying it for me. So it should like it should actually capture the audio and then like monitor it, like, you know, push it back out to me, but it's not doing that. And I don't know why. Oh. Hmm. All right, so let's see if I can figure out what the problem is. Full universe dynamic load is still running. That's expected. B3, B4 initialization scan to complete maps. Roadcaster takes all the audio channels and like funnels that into a single one or something. Like you can manage everything Roadcaster Duo actually. Well, that's the one I have. It works for Twitter Spaces. It happens to be the exact same thing. Interesting. Okay. I need to look into that. I'm going to write that down. Roadcaster. Cool. That is definitely... Audio to me is like a really important thing, because I think like when you're streaming, you're basically talking to yourself for hours on end. And it's like you're not really talking to yourself, you're responding to the like chat messages and like, you know, like the people. And like in this case, I feel like I know pretty much everyone that's like listening and like betting and stuff like that. But like when you're like streaming, it's just like it gets really quiet when you like are talking and then you don't hear a response. And so music helps a lot with like good vibes, I think. This is very interesting. I'm going to be very curious to see. I'm going to hold to lock. I'm going to be very curious. To see if I can make it. Since it's like a monologue. I mean, it's not a monologue. You're just kind of like... You get used to narrating what you're doing and to like filling in the silence and stuff like that. I think like people at Fastlane probably think I talk a lot. I think if you're a streamer, you kind of have to learn how to talk a lot. It's kind of like part of the like core job description as a streamer. But I also think that like music is it fills in the silence in a way that I think the monkey parts of our brains like really want to hear. Because like at a certain point, right? So it's like if you took someone from like 50 years ago and you put them on the other side of my monitor so that like they couldn't see like the camera or the lights or the monitors, and they were just like watching me so they could see me but not the screen, then they would think I'm schizophrenic and they would throw me in the loony bin. And I think that like, they would think that, like, we modern people tell ourselves like, oh, no, it's not. But like deep down there's some part of our DNA, like some part of our evolution that just kind of knows that maybe it is like a little bit crazy to spend a lot of time talking at, light pixels, you know? And it's like, yeah, like we can have this understanding that like there are human beings on like, the other side, that are watching and that are interacting with us. But I think that abstraction, like that understanding, is something that is not too dissimilar from just being crazy. And I think one of the cool things about like humanity, and like one of the really neat things that's like allowed humans to be like as a species where we are, is that ability to be crazy and do like objectively crazy things, such as talking to a bunch of pixels, um, and like not have it like break us down. Okay, gang, I got to get back to work. It's like 3 a.m. for me. Got to be up by 8. Got more to do tonight. Genuinely interesting stream, Alex. Really excited for the next one you do. Hell yeah. Let's try to shoot for next week. I really want to get the bot trading, and I want to do like the tuning stuff again. So I think I'm gonna spend like a lot more time debugging it, so that like the next stream, this was kind of fun to like bet on whether or not the AI stuff could like actually fix the bugs. But I want to make it more interesting with like I want us to be watching this screen and not this screen. So I'll I think like for the next stream, like maybe same time next week. Or honestly I could do like a morning time stream too. Like the main thing is I just can't do it when the toddler is awake and at home, because he's gonna wanna come in and he's gonna be upset if he's not allowed to. Um but yeah, let me I'll talk with you guys. We can schedule a next one, and I'll have everything like more robustly set up by then. It should be a lot of fun. And I've got like a good understanding now of like how to get everything settled. I am gonna win this bet. I didn't bet, but like emotionally, I'm invested at this point. Still waiting on the full state scan. I'm keeping it alive because exact ranking across. Oh, here we go. Found the mon source. The repeated cross code is coming from the fitted curve reference path, not from exact pool math. Oh my god, it messed up the math. So basically what's happening is that like if the bot is trying to buy mon and it wants to do like a lot of volume, what it does is it'll send the trade and evaluate multiple pools on chain, and then it will split the volume between like let's say 3 pools. Like let's say Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and Balancer all have a sell rate or like a pool rate at the exact same rate. And then Uniswap has twice as much liquidity as Pancake and Balancer. So what the bot will do is it'll send 50% of its volume to Uniswap, 25% to Balancer, and 25% to Pancake. And what's interesting here is that it seems like the actual problem has to do with how these pools are getting combined. Oh, actually, maybe not. Hold on. Codex is saying, I agree with the shape of that diagnosis, but I want to be precise about where the rod is. Cross-Mon cell appeared to be a one-hop split, so I'm going to inspect the two winning cell curves in isolation. Fitted output versus exact output at the actual allocated sizes and at the fit sample points. So what it's actually doing is it's calculating, like, because if these things were always crossed, then there would be arbitrage. But there's not. The split hop allocator is combining bad derivative curves, and the badness is large. I got 3 minutes. I have to turn plan mode off. So I told it the exact opposite of don't make mistakes because I realized I was running out of time. Come on, Codex. Come on, Codex. If the cubic lies above the pool's exact quote at 25% of cap, it's a conservative linear curve cap. I don't like that, but it might fix it anyway. So like basically the way that it works is it'll take the rate at a certain volume, and then it'll take the derivative of the volume with respect to the rate. So like you guys know how price impact works with dexes. The basic idea is that like the more volume you do in a pool, the more the rate moves. And so the like the first derivative is basically saying like for every marginal new unit of volume, how much does the rate move? So it's like if you do 100 units of volume and the rate moves 1%, and you do 101 units of volume and the rate moves like 1.0001%, then the 0.0001% or whatever. I'm oversimplifying the math a little bit, but like that would be the marginal thing. And then you take the second order derivative of that, which is how much does the first order derivative change as you increase the volume. And so the first order derivative gives you a line, the second order derivative gives you a slope of that line. And when it's talking about the cubic, what it's saying is that the cubic is actually going too aggressively, and it's curling such that like the number becomes something that is otherwise impossible, or like it's getting like it's becoming like negative. So it would be like you imagine a Uniswap liquidity pool that looks like this, and what it's saying is that the cubic is making the liquidity keep going back up again. I don't think. Okay, please commit push to origin/main. It finished before midnight, so we're gonna count it if whatever it did fixes the bug. Actually, it's not allowed to do anything. I'll do it manually for it. Actually, I'm just gonna have it do it. We're all adults here. Is everyone okay with that, by the way? I actually don't know if it's gonna fix it or not. Fast, fast, fast. It finished before? Yeah, it finished before. I'm just being very lazy and using it to do the Git workflow. This is the opposite of the poly market thing. The action happened before the deadline, but we're verifying the action afterwards, and so we're allowing it. So it's the opposite of poly market. We're in poly market because the verification didn't happen before the deadline. They disabled it. Okay, so now I need to make sure it has pushed. I gotta get over to the other computer and build it. Let me see. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm gonna be mad if this actually fixes it. Because that's like a that's like a much simpler bug than what I was thinking. But it also does kind of make sense. Kinda, sorta. Kinda, sorta. So here's what's interesting. The DeFi buy is below the CeFi price. So that means the DeFi buy price is wrong. All right. That looks good. We are ready to go. Awaiting results. What's going on? I'm just thinking out loud. I'm kind of bummed that like the bot lost money over this time period, but that's what happens when it's bugged. I'm also like mad at myself for updating it when it was like net long or net short, doesn't really matter which, but the thing that's like really killing me is that like this would have been like a very tradable thing. And wasn't able to trade it. It looks like there has been some nice price action going on. By the way, I was not paying attention. I did not know that ETH was like below 2K. This is like actually insane. What is going on? Poor Ethereum. But so it is getting shut down right now. It should be coming back up momentarily. Moment of truth. Where have you been? So like my favorite thing by far about doing this kind of trading is that you literally don't care about the actual price of like the assets. You just care about it moving. Like the scenario in which I make no money with this kind of trading is if the prices are perfectly flat. But it's like if I see like a this or a this, or even better like a this, although not like a like you want like a little bit of time between them, otherwise you like lose money. But like I don't really track like the actual price. I just track the deltas because that's where you make money. But don't you check the markets like on a daily basis? I do check Mon. And so I mean like technically I check them pretty regularly because like take like this for instance. Like I look at this all the time. Like I look at this all the time. And so like I've got like the prices right there. But like what I'm really looking at is like, okay, did this blue line go well, Usually I'm looking like, did the blue line go above the red line? Because that means that like the thing should be trading. So like I'm looking at it like relative rather than like what's the actual number. But I do look at Mon because the Mon price matters a lot because Schmonad's TVL, like the LST's TVL, scales 1-to-1 with the price of Mon. So if like the price of Mon goes up 5%, then our TVL goes up 5%, which means that portion of like Fastlane, the company's revenue, goes up by 5%. We have like some revenue that's like not denominated in Mon, but we also have like, a lot of like our revenue is very tied to, crypto prices in general. So uh-oh. Did it not fix? Dude, the funniest thing of all would be if I'm like deploying incorrectly, but I don't think I'm deploying incorrectly. All right, I'm gonna verify. That's exactly what I didn't want it to show on screen, but I don't think people can get into that. Oh my gosh. So I think this might be a nose might have it. I just want to make sure this isn't a DevOps failure on my part. All right. There you have it. We were unable to fix the bug. All right, everybody. And on that note, it is now 12:10. Not fixed. It is not fixed. I think it's because I rushed Codex, and so Codex wasn't able to properly do it. Because it could be the cubic issue, um, but that's such like if the cubic issue really was what was causing the bug, I feel like Fable 5 would have caught that. But yeah, so what I need to do is I need to add more logs and more metrics so it can figure out what the actual problem is, or I can revert. But I'm stubborn. I don't want to revert. I want to fix it again. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Before I wrap up, let me resolve no. We were no's across the board. If anybody bet no each time, I think they won a pretty decent amount of money. Congratulations to anybody that was betting no across the board. That's fun. But yeah, guys, I am going to keep tinkering with this over the weekend, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I can get it fixed, and then we'll tune. And yeah, next week we'll try to do this again, and the stream will become a lot more about like the trading strategy. and less about debugging. I'm gonna fully debug everything before we get the stream going. Oh, actually, hold on. Yeah, no, it's still bugged. Okay. Um, but yeah, I'll get everything going, and we'll be able to get quite deep into the strategy next time. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. I am now going to try to figure out how to stop streaming. There's not a... There's a cancel stream button. Dude, the crash market guy won like all of it. Oh, that's funny. Um, so there's a cancel stream button. I'm not sure if... Oh, here we go. Overview. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks again. Have a great weekend, and talk to you guys soon. Bye. Oh, wait, I need to turn off the YouTube.